If you have some money and you wanted to grow without really doing anything, without working a second job, without flipping houses or spending your days trading stocks, the good news is that there are still plenty of ways to let your money work for you. Most people think of a regular savings account at the bank, but these usually pay very little interest. You might leave your cash there for an entire year and only get a couple of dollars back. That's not really growing your wealth. That's just keeping it safe. So if you want your money to increase on its own while you basically do nothing, you'll need to think about better options that balance safety, growth, and time. The first category to think about is the very safe, low-risk choices. These won't make you rich overnight, but they give you more than a normal savings account, and they don't require any extra work. One example is a high-yield savings account. Unlike traditional accounts, these pay around 4 to 5% interest a year right now, which is many times better than the near 0% that old-fashioned accounts give. The setup is simple. You put your money in, and every month interest is added. Another option in this safe zone is a certificate of deposit, or CD. With this, you agree to lock your money away for a set period, like 6 months, a year, or 2 years. In exchange, the bank gives you a guaranteed rate of return. You can't spend that money until the CD ends, but the return is steady. And for people who know they won't need to touch that money, it could be a very easy passive growth tool. Then there are government bonds and treasury bills. These are basically loans you give to the government, and in return you get interest. They're considered very safe, and right now many of them also pay around 4 to 5%. These are the options for people who say, I want my money safe, I don't want to worry about losing it, but I want it to earn more than pennies. Now, let's step up to the medium risk options. This is where your money can start growing faster, but with a bit of movement up and down. One of the most powerful tools here is the index fund, often tracking something like the S&P 500 or the total stock market. When you buy into an index fund, you're spreading your money across hundreds of companies, so you don't have the risk of putting everything into a single stock. Historically, over long periods of time, index funds have returned about 7 to 10% per year. The magic is in compounding. If you put $1,000 in and just leave it alone, reinvesting the returns, in 10 or 20 years, you can see it grow into many times the original amount. The best part is that it's passive. You don't have to watch the market every day. You just put in and let time do its work. Dividend stocks and dividend exchange-traded funds are another option in this middle zone. These are investments in companies that share a portion of their profits directly with shareholders. So if you own shares, every quarter you might get a small cash payment called a dividend. You can either spend it or reinvest it to buy more shares. Over time, this steady drip of income plus growth in the stock price could be a very rewarding way to build wealth without doing anything. It feels like your money is sending you little paychecks while you sleep. Another interesting option here is real estate investment trusts, known as REITs. These are companies that own and operate real estate like shopping centers, apartments, or warehouses. By law, they have to pay most of their profits back to investors as dividends. So when you buy a REIT, you're basically getting a slice of rental income from properties all across the country without ever being a landlord yourself. Again, it's money that can grow and flow to you without you lifting a finger. Now we move to the higher risk territory. This is where the potential returns are greater, but the possibility of loss is also real. For people who don't mind the ups and downs, and who can leave their money untouched for years, individual stocks are one route. Buying stock in one company could double or triple your money if the business succeeds, but it could also drop if things go wrong. It's more like a bet than a sure thing, but with the right patience, some investors build significant wealth this way. Then there's cryptocurrency. Coins like Bitcoin or Ethereum have gained enormous value over the last decade, though they've also had big crashes. Some people treat crypto as digital gold, something they just buy and hold long-term, hoping that adoption and scarcity will drive the value higher. It's definitely riskier than bonds or index funds, but for a small portion of a portfolio, some people are comfortable with that gamble. There are also things like peer-to-peer lending, where you lend money to individuals or small businesses through a platform and they pay you back with interest. It can offer higher returns than banks, but of course, the risk is that someone might not pay you back. Now, no matter which option you choose, there are smart habits that can make your money grow even more passively. One of the simplest is setting up automatic investing. Instead of trying to remember to put money into a fund every month, you just set up an automatic transfer. That way, it happens without effort. Another smart move is to use tax-advantaged accounts, like retirement accounts, which let your money grow without being taxed every year. Over decades, this can make a huge difference in how much you end up with. It's also worth remembering that the enemy of growth is fees. Many people unknowingly invest in funds with high fees that eat into returns. Choosing low-cost funds, like index ETFs, can add thousands of dollars to your wealth over time, simply because you're not paying money away to managers. So if you want your money to increase without doing anything, the real strategy is to find a right mix between safety and growth. Set it up once, and then leave it alone. For pure safety, you can use high-yield savings, CDs, or treasury bills. For steady long-term growth, index funds, dividend stocks, and REITs are excellent. For those who don't mind risk and want a shot at much bigger gains, individual stocks and crypto are possible. The important thing is that once your money is placed, you don't have to manage it day to day. It just works quietly in the background, compounding, paying dividends, or earning interest while you focus on living your life. Think of it this way: money is like a worker. If you put it in the wrong place, like a low-interest account, that worker just sits around doing almost nothing. But if you put it in the right environment, whether it's an index fund, a bond, or a dividend stock, that worker starts producing results for you all day and all night, year after year. That's how people build wealth over time, not by chasing every hot trend or spending hours glued to stock charts, but by setting up a system where their money increases by itself. In the end, the choice comes down to your comfort level. If you value security and can't stand the idea of losing money, stick with the safe options like government bonds or high-yield savings. If you want higher returns and can handle the ups and downs, look at index funds or dividend ETFs. And if you're okay with taking risks, you might add a little crypto or individual stocks. But no matter which path you pick, the principle remains the same. Put your money somewhere it can grow on its own, step back, and let time do the heavy lifting.